Specs removed, eyes closed. Keep your hands on your chest area and resting your attention on your beautiful heart. With a slow, long, relaxing breath, connect with your heart center. Feel it, dear friends. Notice the beat, the rhythm of your heart. Your inner knowingness. Feel the center of all emotions, nurturing all life with its higher vibrations of love, compassion, gratitude. Can you recollect an experience from your past? Or simply go into an experience of higher emotion? Imagine that you are experiencing great, beautiful nature. You're trekking into mountains. You're helping people in need. Relive that moment and feel that energy. And allow yourself to direct that energy onto everyone and everything on this planet to help them heal. Where your attention goes, there your energy flows. Relive that moment and feel that energy and spread that energy to everyone, to everything, or to those who are in need. The more you experience love, compassion, deep joy, the more coherent you become, the more connected you become. you. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation with your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in breath and the out breath. We are going into powerful group meditation. Observe your normal, natural in breath and the out breath. With your attention at the root of your nose. When you observe your breath, your mind becomes less and less of thought. As your mind is becoming empty, allow yourself to experience that deeper calmness inside of you, all around you. Allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to experience emptiness, blackness. Where there's no body, where there's no thing. All emptiness is energy. The quantum field of infinite possibilities. The field of wholeness, the field of oneness. The longer you stay aware of this emptiness, this energy, the more you become of it, the more you receive from it. Stay aware of the emptiness, that calmness, this field of energy, the field of creation. The more you are with it, with this emptiness, the more you tune in. The miraculous possibilities. The more expansive you become. If you find yourself distracted in thought, go back to observing your breath and allow yourself to go into that emptiness. This is your divine self, your greater mind. The more you are with it, the more whole you become, the more empowered you become. Friend, can you express gratitude to all things and everyone? Express gratitude to your parents for giving this beautiful connection to life. Be grateful to your teachers and mentors for expanding your knowledge and wisdom. Give thanks to everyone in your life, your family, friends, colleagues, relatives, partners, for helping you learn and experience many things. Be grateful to this grand nature, the fish, the bird, the animal, the planet, stars, sun, moon, Mother Earth, for all the energy, beauty, mystery, and more in our life. For gratitude to everything you use, the system, the company, the governments, the technology that supports our life in many, many ways. Gratitude to yourself for caring for you, for caring for others, and to this intelligent universe for helping us experience this life. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Recollect your experiences from the session. How did you feel? What have you seen? And whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds, and then you may open your eyes.
Welcome back, dear friends and masters. Hope you guys had a wonderful meditation session. And now that Santosh sir has joined the program, so we'll take the wisdom sharing for the four agreements, starting with being impeccable with our speech. Over to you, Santosh sir.
Uh, Thank you, Kiaji. Welcome, everyone. Good evening. I hope all of you had a very good session of meditation. Um, so, uh, so today we'll talk about the four agreements, and it's a book. It's a very famous book written by Don Miguel Ruiz, which stems from the ancient Toltec tradition of southern Mexico, uh, wherein they learn more about the nature of human mind and the dream that we humans collectively inhabit. Right. So he was a trained medical doctor, but found that the Western way of addressing things was only through symptoms and not the root cause of human suffering. And the Toltec path offered something deeper, so freedom from the stories that we tell ourselves. And the core teaching, if I were to say about the four agreements, is that most of the human suffering is self-inflicted. caused by things that we have accepted, like the agreements that we've made without awareness, and usually starting from our childhood, right? And yeah, so as I was talking about the core insight, which is domesticated in us from childhood, trained by family, culture, religion, and schools of rules to follow, right? And in our mind, we've created a set of beliefs we use to judge ourselves and others. So, Ruiz, who's the author of the book, describes this human experience as a dream because we don't see reality directly, right? We see it through a filter of beliefs, rules, and judgments which we've absorbed before we were old enough to question them, right? And it could be about anything, about our own intelligence, about how we look, how we feel, whether we are worth, whether others are worth it. Right? But where did we get these beliefs from, right? Did we get them by ourselves? Were they imparted to us? Right. So the four agreements that we talk about, each one of them sounds simple, but when we start to watch our minds, we'll realize that how often we break them, right? And it's not a reason for self-criticism, but that's actually the beginning of awareness. So we're not here to judge ourselves on the old agreements that we've created, but we've come here to become conscious of them, right? So that we can choose differently. So the four agreements are being impeccable with your word, not to take anything personally. Second one, and the third one, don't make any assumptions, and fourth one being always doing your best, right? So today we'll talk about being impeccable with your word. Um, so what does being impeccable with your word mean, basically? So impeccable comes from a Latin word. It means without sin, basically. So something like without going against yourself. So this agreement is not about being polite, but it's about maintaining integrity, right? Using the power of language in a way that it is true, kind, and aligned with who we are, with love rather than in fear, right? So what is the power of the word that we speak, right? The word is pure magic. It's one of the most powerful gifts that humans have, and we use that to communicate to one another, to talk to one another. And through this word, we have the power to create anything that we like. We can manifest, we create events. It's the instrument that bridges between our inner world and the external reality that we can share with others, right? Basically, every word or every statement that we make about ourselves or about others, right, is like a seed, right? And as we nurture the seeds grow, right? So when you say that I'm not good enough, you're basically casting sort of like a spell on yourself, saying that you're telling yourself or you're telling your mind that to confirm something that you've already just said, right? The power of word is such that they're just not neutral sounds. They carry intent, emotion, and energy. And we need to take this power seriously because it's not something abstract, right? Because everything that we converse is becoming a reality in one way or the other. And what's the most important conversation you have with, or whom do you have the most important conversation with? It's your own self, right? It's the one inside our own head about who we are, right? So we're just not creating reality outside, doing it inside, right? Which will reflect outwards. So using our word against ourselves is like a primary source of self-sabotage, basically. Calling ourselves anything, even as a joke, is like in turn causing some sort of harm, maybe. Right? So we should begin to speak ourselves as you would with someone whom you love, right? So, and also every time we actually speak to others, right? Even in form of gossip, it actually can ruin things because words carry emotional charge far beyond how they're spoken, right? They travel and they not just plant seeds in ourselves, but also in others. So, um, once again, I think someone has raised their hand at this point. I'm not sure. Uh, Shilpi
Yeah, yeah. What you mean by the first agreement is that we should be speaking all positive words and be on the positive side and not go on the negative. That is what it means.
um, well, see, first thing, right? We must accept what we are feeling. I'm not, see, we may feel angry, we may feel dissatisfied with something. I'm not saying not to express that. What I would say is speak your truth, uh, because the power of words is something that it creates, and how it is used can set you free, or it can be used to enslave yourself. So I would say be blameless in your words and speak with integrity.
So,
So,
like an example, like if I'm angry, I just use the half sentence, I'm angry. But if I use the full sentence, I'm angry because I'm having some pain or something, and it will go off. So that will release me that this anger is temporary and I'm feeling it, it will go off. That is like I don't stay in anger forever. Right? Like that.
right. I'll give examples as I go along. So one thing is, let's say that you're angry. See, why is it that we are going into silence and actually meditating? Right? So one of the main reasons is that we give we interrupt the thought process within ourselves, right? And we're creating a stream of silence, right? In one way. And when we do that, we as we progress along our life, right? We are starting to actually be conscious of the way that we speak. I hope you do notice that. And I'm not sure if you had the session wherein, let's say you're angry, you're anxious about some things, right? So, so there are three brain centers. You have the prefrontal cortex, which is your logical brain, and you have the limbic system, which is your emotional center, and you have amygdala over there, right? So when anything happens, the our system, our body sends signals immediately to amygdala to react based on something that has happened in past, right? And we take hasty decisions then, and we in a fit of anger we could do something which will damage our reputation, could damage the person whom we are working with, right? So, but introducing meditation, right? We become conscious of how we are, and we give time to ourselves, so that we give time to the logical brain or the message to reach the logical brain, so that we can think and respond. I'm just saying being aware of how you speak is the first thing that you have to look at, right? And again, being true to yourself, it's not that even I get angry, right? So but we want to create space between what we feel, especially in terms when, let's say, if I'm angry, I generally would go and say, instead of saying I'm angry, I just go and create space in a manner saying Santosh is angry. Now when I say Santosh is angry, instead of saying I'm angry, I create some sort of space which gives me time to think, okay, fine, how can I respond consciously in this situation, rather than taking or doing something that would actually be harmful to the others or to myself. I hope I've answered your question in part. We'll continue, and I hope if you have any more doubts, I'm happy to answer those questions as well.
I got that part that you are realizing when we are angry, we are
Yeah.
realizing we are angry and we are not reacting at the same time and like taking time to counteract why we are angry. So we are not immediately reacting. That's what I
Right,
understand.
right. That's one part of it. But what I want to tell you is when you want to be impeccable, right? The first thing is, of course, noticing who we are and what we are speaking, right? I'm again, right? See, if someone is crossing boundaries, which you have said or which you are going to set, right? And which is probably triggering your anger. I'm taking a hypothetical situation. Um, we still want to tell them, see, you're crossing a boundary. But what I'm saying is, you tell them in a manner that's you feel best in form of love rather than you being angry and saying it out, blurting it out, and causing even more harm and making the other person not understand that. Right? So you will do your best in that situation to communicate your boundaries, right? But in communicating your boundaries, you're being truthful to yourself, right? Because you created that boundary,
Yeah.
right? So maintaining that boundary is important to you because you're being impeccable with your word, right? It's not that you accept someone for what they say, as long as you yourself don't believe in it, right? You want to establish boundaries in certain cases and you will communicate that, but in a manner wherein you love yourself and also want to express the truth in front of others.
Yeah.
I hope I'm making some sense.
What I understand is like it's like uh, whatever emotions or whatever reactions we give out generally is as per our nature. Like
Hmm.
whatever, if my nature is like that, so I behave in a certain manner. But this is like a conscious way of handling yourself. But it is like it can go in a reverse direction also. We are always conscious. We are always conscious of what we are doing. But in other sense, we are naturally doing what our nature is.
Right. So, but let's assume, see, you want to create your nature or whatever you call your nature, right? See, a lot of your nature has come from past beliefs, right? Which has been
Yeah.
important to you. Have you chosen all of that? No, right? You've picked it up as you've grown along, right? Now you want to nurture yourself in a manner that you create beliefs or you create a system for yourself that is actually empowering yourself and also the others, right? So we do something called as a triple filter test when we speak, right? So the triple filter test goes something like, if is it true what we are speaking, is it actually the truth, and the second question we ask ourselves, is it necessary, right? And the third, I think, is it kind, and if it does not, then it may be a task for you to reconsider whether you have to even speak that, because what we are, or what the lesson recommends is that you be conscious and then actually do the convey the message to the others and also to yourself.
See, this is in case we are taking about like we are angry. So we are sometimes happy also. That is our emotion. And we
Sure,
want to share our emotions with everyone, happiness.
sure.
But it sometimes happens that we should not be so much sharing and we not tell everyone. So in that case, we should withhold our
No,
emotions. Like,
no, no. I again, see, if it's in your nature or if you've grown up sharing and you enjoy doing that, please do that. Do not go against who you are as a person. I'm not saying that. If you're a person who's very, very extroverted and likes to share things with your sister, friends, and parents, right? And you don't go and do that, it will continue to be within yourself, right? And you're not that kind of person then. Right? You want to
yeah,
share that, right? So please do that. I'm not saying that do not share things. Please absolutely do that. But being true to who you are and how you build the system around you in which you yourself can nurture in that environment, plus you can do that for others as well.
okay. So in a better way, think in a better way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way. Yeah. So again, right, so I'm not sure if you go back to your previous sessions, right? You are creating the reality. So our thoughts, our emotions are creating the reality, right? So every word that we say is again, I'm every thought, every word that we are saying or being is planting a seed which is going to get nurtured, right? So do you want to do, I mean, of course, if it's for the betterment of others, if it's kind and sharing and truthful, by all means, please go ahead and share it. Even for the matter when you actually face emotions which you need to convey to the others, please do that in a loving manner, because you need to withhold boundaries that you have established for yourself as well, right?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
whatever we say on whatever we do, we should create a positive environment around it, be it anger, happy, means whatever happen, it creates a positivity in every way. That's what it
yeah,
means.
absolutely. Yeah. So again, even when we are again, one way is not to gossip, because gossip creates, it spreads, and it does not even spread the truth, right? So I'll give some examples in that manner when I go there. Yeah. So I'll continue. We'll take questions again as and when they come. So again, yeah, speak with integrity and say what we mean from our own inner self, right? Not say something that you don't mean, and try and focus the verbal energy that you're conveying, right, on truth and from the way of love, right? And so, again, as I was saying, one of the most important conversations that you have is the one with yourself, right? So, based on research from National Science Foundation, we learned that we as beings have about 50 to 60,000 thoughts per day, right? And a lot of them turn out to be negative, right? It's how human minds have grown out to be. And us noticing or being aware of who we are is noticing or being aware of what we are saying, and again choosing what you want to convey, right? So some of the older beliefs or agreements that you may have carried is like, I always mess things up, or I'm terrible at this job, or I'm terrible at the task that you gave me, right? But what you could do, let's say you made a mistake, right? You accept that you made a mistake and you say to yourself that I can learn from this. Right? That's like keeping the agreement versus you saying to yourself that I can't, I've not done this rightly in the past, right? Or if you feel that you're not feeling appreciated, you may tell yourself that, "Oh, so nobody appreciates me." But you can actually say that I appreciate myself, and if there is any need that I have, I'll communicate it more clearly so that people understand what my contributions are, right? And you could also, you may say to yourself, say, I'm not good enough for this because the job may be challenging. So you say to yourself, it's okay, this job is challenging, but I'll learn, I'll figure it out one by one. See, that's the kind of conversation that you want to have with yourself, right? Because the biggest threat that you create for yourself is the things that you tell yourself. And it's a constant chatter that runs in the background, right? So the agreement says that while you extend grace to others, please also extend it to yourself, because you may notice things that others may need, but you also need to notice that what you need, right? So a few examples, let's say for students and young professionals could be, it's like you go to a classroom. So you're in engineering or you're in a graduate program and you get a new professor. He takes the first class. But after the class gets over, you go and tell your friends, see, this professor is terrible. I couldn't understand anything that he taught, right? And we should avoid listening to him, right? By saying this, you're planting a seed of doubt in their mind, right? Even before they themselves get to experience, or whatever their experience may be different, right? But instead, you could actually say, see, I found his way of teaching to be challenging. It could be not just a professor, right? It could be someone at work whom you newly met, but his way of talking or his way of assigning tasks may be challenging, right? So you could say that I find his way of teaching or interacting to be a bit challenging, and that's what you tell others, so that you don't color their experience with what you have felt, because your feeling is basically a judgment. And the more you color your own judgment, you will always see that person with that lens, and you're planting that seed in others' mind as well, right? Could be you're doing a joint project, right? It could be in school, or it could be in college, could be in at workplace as well. You could say that one of your teammates doesn't contribute. You could go and tell others, but this sort of gossip would actually damage someone's reputation, plus also is coloring someone's opinion, right? But you could actually very genuinely say that I've noticed that the workload feels uneven. Can we sit down and clarify who owns what? It's direct and honest, right? And it's solution focused. So I'm not saying do not address the challenges that come in front of you. Please do address them, because you are meant to do that. But instead of doing that behind the lens of fear or behind gossip, I'm asking you, being honest, being direct, and being solution focused. How you treat yourself, you want to be treated with love, right? Please do the same for others as well. Use a triple filter test. Is it true, kind, necessary? One of the most simple things that you can do, especially in such scenarios, right? So that's pretty much it, right? So basically, what I want to convey is that the words that you create, right? The words or what comes from you ultimately is coming in form of thought form, and then again you're expressing it in form of words, right? So be open and be honest, because it needs to come from you. And as you continue to practice meditation, right, you will start to become more and more aware of how your thought process is going, because you will realize what kind of reality you want to create, and those are the kind of things that you will express freely, right? And if you create an agreement among with yourself that I will speak with integrity and utmost care, and I will speak what I mean, right? Not ill of others, but rather being honest and direct with people, that will focus the energy with love and truth, and that's who you are, right? So with that, I pretty much wrap up the session. I'm happy to take any questions if anyone has. If anyone would want to share their experience about meditation, about anything. Right. I'm just curious to know, what kind of beliefs have you carried in your day-to-day lives that have actually colored your experience? Either if you want to share coming online, or you want to do it on the chat, that's okay as well. Any experience that
Speaking,
has, sure, please go ahead.
speaking, being honest is not easy. That's what I've learned.
Yeah. But it's that being honest is difficult, but
Yeah, it is
being
difficult, but it is right for you, but it's not good for others.
right.
Others don't like
I
you being honest.
right. So, but maybe being honest is it's not easy. I'm not going to say it is, but please do tell yourself that it is easy, and you will learn to do so. But it will also set you free. Having difficult conversations with yourself and with others is not very easy to do. And the more you do that, and the more you learn to do that, the better it would be for you. See,
Give you an
if
experience like we had an election recently. Like
okay,
I speak point to point, so it was like whatever the person is doing, I speak that. But
okay,
then 50% of the people were against me. Why she's being so honest? Like she was like transparent to whatever we are doing. So that is not good. She's our enemy. That's what happens.
There's a book. It's called. I've been reading a book. It's called The Path to Self-Love. Actually, I'll share the author if anyone needs. So one of the things that we talk about, or the author talks about specifically, is that we always think that we want to do things in order to promote self-love, right? But what are the kind of things that we do for self-love? A lot of us go shopping, we'll eat chocolates, we'll eat ice cream, and we'll go for movies with friends, we go for outings, we'll do anything and call it self-love, right? Especially even social media, I see that. Even I do that, okay? I'm not saying that I don't do that. But there's also a form of love which goes beyond self-love, and it's a little difficult to accept, and that's having a harder or a difficult conversation about emotions that you've been carrying, about things that you want to uphold yourself. And that's where integrity and honesty comes forward, right? Because those are the things that we want to address last. See, we may have a band-aid fix for a lot of things, but the real fix would actually come when we face what we've kept beneath ourselves always, right? And it may take slightly longer. I've seen it in my case. Whenever I'm trying to be truthful, I take time to convey because I know that there's this pull along as to why I'm saying it, right? Why I can just get away with it, right? But that's not true, and that's not who I am. Doing so will set me free, and I know that's who I am, right? And it takes effort and it takes courage, and with regular meditation I felt that I've had the courage to do that. So no matter what the consequences, it's okay. It's who I am, and I will express that clearly. So
Yeah.
be it's okay, except that you've done your part, you've done your best even in the election, and you express your truth. It's okay, no matter the outcome.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we
I,
have
I
to be.
applaud you that you spoke the truth.
Yeah, be
Uh,
consequences. You have to stand alone to bear the consequences.
no, not don't say that yourself, but yeah, whatever it is, whatever be the consequence, you be true to yourself, and that will happen if you. The power of words is so much that if you do not uphold your integrity of what you're saying, no one else will stand up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, yeah. I'll keep the session open if anyone else wants to share and has any questions that they would want to ask at this point. Uh, if not, I think we can wrap up the session. I
Uh,
hope you learned something. Yeah, sorry, someone had something.
yes, just a quick announcement.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
We have the 40-day Sankalp meditation program starting on July 27th. It's a 40-day program for excellence through meditation. Request you all to join. We will be covering some of these aspects a little more in detail in the program as well. So feel free to join, and I think the program is taken by mainly by Chandra sir, so you can address all your questions there. Get go into much more deeper meditative state as well. This again is just a introductory session. We introduce all the topics, but there we will be going much more into detail. Again, the details of these will be shared in the WhatsApp groups. And for anyone who is wanting the details, it's 27th July to September 5th, 6 a.m. IST.
1 hour session, 6 to 7.
No, ma'am. It's a 75-minute session. It's 6 to 7:15 or 7:45, I think.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, everyone. Yes, Vignesh, we can wrap up, I think. Thank you, everyone.
I am perfectly capable of creating a life I love. I am learning to trust myself and make peace with what I can't control. I always have a say in who I am today, and I can always change who I'm becoming. This is my life.